Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Thanks so much for joining us. I am not Jay Kleinknecht. My name is Megan Rosendahl, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here at the Aberdeen Wings. Just filling in for Jay as he is a little bit under the weather today, but he should be back next week. I am, however, once again joined by Wings head coach Scott Langer. Thanks so much for joining us today, Coach.
Glad to be here.
Thanks. Well, let's just jump right into the weekend because it was a very exciting weekend. The Wings swept the division's top-ranked team, the Austin Bruins. We'll start with Friday's game, a 4-3 overtime win against the Bruins. The Wings led as much by 2 goals in the contest at 2 different times, but there's a reason the Bruins are the top-ranked team. They kind of fought their way back in and sent it to overtime. Tishkovich then gets the overtime goal with about a minute left to play in the clock. But really, it was a good physical game. There were some gritty goals. There was a fight. Wings were 1 for 2 on the power play, 1 for 4 on the kill. We outshot them by 10. A lot of really good things that happened in that night. What did you like about Friday's matchup?
Well, we got out in front of them, and I think that's important when they have to travel in and be in our arena, and we're able to come out and pull ahead right away and force them to chase the game. I think that's extremely important. We played well. We played hard, and we'd been okay on Friday nights. We haven't been outstanding on Friday nights. Most of the games that we haven't been successful have been on Friday nights. So we wanted to get out early and set the pace, and I thought we did that.
Friday night's win was our 3rd overtime win out of 4 overtime chances. And you said after the game on Friday night that your team has some confidence in playing with the overtime. What do you mean by that? What kind of confidence are they carrying?
Well, we had success early in the overtime, so I think that just carries on in the locker room. And the guys that we put out there have done a really good job, even just possessing the puck and getting scoring chances. So. We like the guys that are pulling the weight on the overtime, and for us it's good because we have quite a few of those guys that are able to get on the ice in overtime and be successful. But I just think it's there's teams that play on their heels and teams that play on their toes, and I think when it comes to additional hockey, that our guys have some confidence or on their toes.
Well, and that certainly looked true. I think we had taken 4 shots in the overtime period. We only allowed them 1. So I do agree with that. Yeah. Well, let's move on to Saturday's win. Another exciting game, a 3-0 shutout win. Colmore solid in net, getting his first shutout of the season, which I thought was quite deserved considering how many games he has played so far this season. Once again, we outshot the Bruins 31-27, 1 for 5 on the power play, but 0 for 8 on the penalty kill, holding them to no goals out of 8 chances. What did you like about Saturday's matchup?
Yeah, effort. There was a lot of effort in that. Our guys played hard to get that 0 on the other side of the board, and we created quite a few chances on our penalty kill. We probably could have had 3 shorthanded goals that their goalie made great saves on. So, but we always talk about we want our specialty teams to energize the team, whether they're successful or not, that's another story, but we want to make sure that we come out of it with some energy, and our guys are playing with energy in both those specialty teams. So, but again, against a team like Austin, you got to have good specialty teams. Like they got 8 power plays handed to them, and that's a lot. So we had to come up really huge in order to be successful in that game. And on the other side, our power plays getting it done when they need to get it done. So, but again, it's not going to be any different headed into Austin. It's going to be hard to get points, and we're going to have to be good again.
Absolutely, well said. The pace of Saturday's game, it did feel a little slower. A lot of whistles, a lot of penalties, a lot of conferences with the referees and whatnot. When you were facing a slower paced game, what does that do for the momentum? I mean, you guys had a lot of momentum in that game. Does that affect the momentum at all? Does that affect the positivity on the bench at all? And how do your boys compete with that?
Well, it can. For sure it can. The officiating sets the pace of play and allows just so much usually to slow the game down. And obviously in that game there was a lot of captains going to the officials trying to understand what was being called, and a lot of power plays and penalties which slow the game down. But again, you're going to run into some of those type of games. So yeah, it can definitely slow you down if you let it. But I felt our energy level was really good through the whole thing because we were having success and we were playing good hockey. But I don't think any coach in this league wants to see a game at that pace constantly being slowed down, and especially this is an entertainment business at this level, and those fans pay quite a few dollars to sit in those stands, and they sure don't want to sit there with dead time.
Right.
And that part needs to be cleaned up.
Right. Well, speaking of special teams, I went back and looked. In the last 6 games, we've had to kill off 24 penalties, but we've only allowed 1 goal in those 24 opportunities. Power play is now up to 17.2%. The penalty kill jumped up to a division-leading 85.8% on the kill. What has been working? What's been improving and what's been working with these guys?
Well, each team you face, you're facing something a little different.
Sure.
Whether what hands they're utilizing to shoot pucks with and where they're finding their chances. Our guys have been good on the penalty kill because they understand the corrections and the changes that you have to make from week to week, or from game to game, or even period to period. Austin changed up their breakout on us halfway through the game, and our guys were right on it right away to make the change. So they have good IQ, and penalty killing is something that changes all the time. And the group of guys we've had so far have really bought into changing on the fly and understanding that what they're going to see is different all the time. So, we spent some time on it, but they bought in. I got to give all the credit to those guys on the ice. Our goaltending, the players that are hitting the ice in the penalty kill. And you see the amount of block shots we had to have on Saturday alone on the penalty kill, and that's a skill. It's not a fun skill to learn. It hurts, but our guys have bought into that, and I think they like the fact that our penalty kill is getting to the top of the league.
Absolutely. Well, and you said it, you can sometimes read it on the guy's face. Even during practice, if I'm miking someone up and watching practice, those shots look like they hurt.
Yeah, it's not fun, and guys make a career out of it.
Sure.
They really do, but you could tell the guys that are put in those situations are the guys that are willing to do it.
Sure.
So I would say that if you want to be put in that situation, you got to learn to do it.
Sure. Well, that kind of leads into my next question then, because another thing that you had talked about after Saturday's game was persistency. Ethan Robertson, Austin's goaltender, is at the top of the division as far as goaltending goes, and we've got 7 goals on him this weekend. In what other areas has your team really stayed persistent and consistent in those areas?
Well, we don't go away very often, which from a coach's point of view, that's a great thing to have with your team. We just continue to go, whether we're down or we're up. We're continuing to stay on the press, and we're not afraid to be in front of the net. And a lot of goals are being scored within 5 feet of the net.
Sure.
And that's a tough place to go in hockey, because a lot of times you get your nose broke. That's not a real friendly place to go, and our guys have been willing to do that. And since we've been willing to do that, we've been able to score goals. So, but they have great goaltending. We know we've got to have traffic in that area of the ice, and we have to go after them every time we can. We got to take pucks to the net against them. So, our guys did a good job of that this weekend, and we're going to have to be even better.
Absolutely. Well, let's take a look at the standings here. After sweeping Austin, they are still at the top of the division, having 39 points after 26 games played. The Wings bump up into second place with 31 points in 25 games played. North Iowa sits in third with 28 points after 26 games. Minot is in fourth, also with 28 points, but with 27 games played. St. Cloud swept the Minotauros over the weekend, so they bump up to fifth place with 24 points in 25 games played. And Bismarck is now at the bottom of the division with 23 points in 25 games played. Looking back at the last 10 games, the Wings are 8-2, riding a 3-game win streak into this coming weekend. I know that it's early in the season, but what does this type of success, what does this type of winning streak have an effect on this team, especially going in and facing a team again, and then having a break coming up the weekend after that? What does that success mean to you at this point in the season?
Well, I mean, you certainly always want to see your trajectory going up, and I think we've been able to do that. Our team continues to get better every week, and we know that we're in the game, that we have the ability to take points any given night.
Sure.
And that's not always easy to say. Sometimes you're facing teams that you know what, it's going to be really, really hard. But I think we've made a statement where teams go, you know what, it's going to be hard.
Sure.
So that's what we want, and our guys are up for the challenge. And this weekend, we know how it's going to go. It's Coach Howard's going to have those guys ready to go from the drop of the puck, and they're not going to be really happy campers, and we understand that. So we're going to match it. We're going to match it right away, and I'm sure it's going to be a great contest again with two good hockey teams. But, having the break right after that, our guys just need to be focused and not looking to go on break too early. But the break is well needed, and we have nothing to hold back come Friday, Saturday.
Absolutely. Playing a team like this 4 times in a row, 2 weekends back to back, what are some of the positives and the negatives of having that kind of matchup?
Well, I think there's more negatives than there is positives, just because teams already dislike each other. That's just the game. And then all of a sudden you're constantly being hit by one another.
Right.
And you just learn to really dislike each other. So, sometimes the games get ultra physical, or sometimes overstep your boundaries, which you never want to see in the game of hockey. But, you have to play the schedule you're given. It's not always great to play the same teams, 4 or 5 times in a row. But that's what happens in our league. So we're going to have to go out there and make the best of it.
Sounds good. Well, the Wings will be on the road this coming weekend. This is Friday and Saturday, December 16th and 17th against the Bruins. And Coach, I want to thank you for being on the show, and best of luck against Austin next weekend.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes with another player joining us here on Wings Weekly.
We raise the bar on bar food with sandwiches, tenders, and there's more where this came from. To the greatest of all time.
We are back for our second portion of Wings Weekly, and as usual, we have a player joining us. This time I have the number 7 of Jackson Anderson from Prior Lake, Minnesota. Thanks for swinging by the locker room today, Jackson.
Yeah, no problem.
I know you guys have an off day today after your big weekend sweep against the Bruins. What does an off day look like for you?
Kind of depends. I normally like to watch football on Sundays. Go out to eat, maybe like Buffalo Wild Wings, something like that. Today we're going to Palm Garden, so
Yes.
yeah. So after this, I'll get there, and then that's about it. Just relax.
Sure. Sure. Well, and relax is probably a big part of recovery for you guys, and certainly a big part of recovery for any athlete. So, well, good. So you're 18 years old, one of the younger guys on the team, but that doesn't mean you're exactly new to the game. It looks like you played as captain of your high school team back in Prior Lake.
Yeah.
Also spent some minutes in the USHL with the Des Moines Buccaneers. In your first season in the NAHL, you so far have 2 goals, 8 assists, and 17 games played. What's the experience in the NAHL been like so far?
It's definitely a lot different than high school was. There's a ton more structure compared to high school. High school is more just send your best players out there and hopefully you can make something happen. But here you got to work as a team. You got to use all 5 guys to be successful, and especially in the defensive zone, you got to be able to defend the game, and you can't let the other team get free goals.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a big issue with our team last year. We didn't have any structure, really. We just our best players were able to carry us, and then
You just try to score more than they score on you.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been really fun. It's definitely a new experience that I'm still slowly adjusting to. It's pretty grueling on your body, and you get banged up quite a bit, which was not the experience I had in high school very much, but yeah, it's been fun.
Good. Yeah, well, these coaches here certainly know how to work you guys and progress your skill level on, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. Tell me how you got your start in hockey. How old were you when you started playing? Did you have any influences, maybe older siblings or anything like that played hockey?
I know I started skating when I was really young, 3 years old. But
Okay.
hockey, it's just kind of ran on my mom's side of the family a little bit. My grandpa used to be a coach.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, my uncle played, but yeah, I started skating when I was younger, and I hated it because I fell backwards and dislocated my arm when I was 3 years old, and then I didn't start playing actual hockey until I was almost 6, I think it was, so I'm around there, yeah. So I didn't have a great experience to start out with, but then I was pretty good at it when I was younger, and then just stuck.
So with hockey being on your mom's side of the family, is she your go-to stereotypical hockey mom? Hockey moms are great.
Yeah, she's got the necklaces, she's got the coats, winter coats, and then she gets my grandparents all that stuff with like our names on the side.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great. That's great. What would you do without hockey moms, right? So, when did you decide or learn that maybe you were pretty good at defense and decided to become a defenseman?
I was around like 10 years old. I used to be a forward up until then, and then one year my coach just decided to put me on defense, and then I was pretty good at it. I played it. Like ever since then, I've just been a defenseman. So,
what do you enjoy about defense? What are some of the different aspects of being a defenseman that you take some pride in?
It's pretty fun being able to like frustrate guys on the offensive side. Yeah, like in practice, especially sometimes it's like you can start saying some stuff to the forwards and get in their head a little bit, and then it gets competitive for sure. And then in games, obviously, stopping a goal is almost just as important as scoring one sometimes, and then helps the team win.
Absolutely. Yeah, Coach Langer, when he was on just a few minutes ago, talked about that, stepping in front of the pucks and being that body that sometimes you got to sacrifice it, and we've certainly seen that from you a handful of times this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Away from the rink, what are some of the things that you enjoy to do? Are you a golfer? Are you a video gamer?
Both, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, in the summer, me and a bunch of my friends, we get like a golf membership to the same course, and then we go almost every day over the summer. And then lately I've been gaming a little bit with some of the teammates, and then I like to go out on the lake quite a bit. I live on Prior Lake in Minnesota, so it's pretty easy access. And then, I like going to the casino occasionally. I don't know, I'm trying to think. Just hanging out with friends too. Just a good time always.
Very cool. Well, I imagine with 10,000 lakes in Minnesota, you've stepped foot on a handful of them. That one makes a lot of sense. We played our Christmas video. If you weren't at the rink this weekend, we played our holiday video on the jumbo screen both Friday and Saturday night. It was one of the most fun things that I've ever had to put together. If you haven't seen it, we will be posting that on social media sometime this week, but Jackson here was in a full-on pink Christmas Story bunny costume. You had the Christmas tree glasses. It looked like all of you guys were just having so much fun. Tell me a little bit about the camaraderie in the locker room and how well you guys all seem to get along together.
Yeah, ever since I first got here, I was like pretty intimidating coming in. I was a new guy.
Sure.
I was a lot younger than most guys.
Well, and you met the team on the road, didn't you?
Yeah, so I came from Des Moines, went home for one night, then I drove myself to St. Cloud and met the team at the hotel, and then I was lucky the guys I was staying with welcomed me in really well and like introduced me to most of the guys, and then it helped with like the intimidation factor. Like the first day was a little shaky, but then the second day I got into the swing of things a little bit more, and then ever since then I've just kind of hit the ground running.
Sure.
And then, yeah.
Well, and filming like the Mic'd Up Monday videos and stuff like that, it seems like everyone is able to kind of talk with everybody, and I've certainly caught you in the background of a few of those videos, kind of, giving people grief from time to time, and it seems like you'll get along so great.
Yeah, we all do, and I feel like I could go up to anybody on the team and have a conversation with them. I wouldn't be awkward or anything like that, or I could ask anybody to go hang out after practice or something. So yeah. Good.
That's good to hear. Coach Steps talked a little bit about your level of play as a defenseman, and especially on the kill. We've been very successful on the kill lately, moved up to the top of the Central Division on the penalty kill, and you have been a really big part of that. I think he mentioned that you spent half of the minutes on the ice for the kill over the weekend's games. Tell me what it's like. Do you enjoy the kill? Do you look forward to it?
Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah. Like when we get a penalty, I'm expecting to go out on the ice. I want to be on the ice.
Sure.
I don't want to sit there and watch it. I want to be proactive in it. And then, like on the ice, sometimes it sucks. You got to block a shot. Like last weekend, I thought I broke my foot for a second.
Oh, man. We talked about how that just looks painful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel too good, but then you come back to the bench and everybody's giving you knocks, and I got Steps like coming over, like that's a big time hockey play, so that felt pretty good. And yeah, I think we were like 8 for 8 on Saturday, so it was it's a confidence booster for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it feels good, and then it drains the other team too a little bit. Like,
Sure.
I'm sure they're thinking about it coming into this weekend, like we got to score a goal on the power play now.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess it's a little bit of a mental game too, but yeah, it felt good to be able to shut them out on Saturday, and the kill was a huge part of it.
What do you think you take the most pride in defensively? I mean, there seems like there's a lot going on back there that you guys have got to be thinking about all the time. What are some of your stronger points, and what do you take the most pride in?
I think I take a good amount of pride in being able to move the puck up ice pretty well. I think when I get like my mojo going a little bit, I can defend really well, and I think I can like create offense for the team as well. And then, you know, I like being able to like hit a guy every once in a while, put him on his back. So it's not like a huge part of my game, but I take pride in it when it happens. And then being able to just like make plays out of nothing sometimes, like down in the corners.
Sure.
It seems like sometimes I can get like evade pressure and get the puck to a center or a winger and get out of the zone.
Sure. Somebody once described, and I never thought about it this way before, but somebody once described to me as a defenseman is almost like a quarterback. When you get the puck behind the net and you're kind of looking at what you've got on the field and setting up the play, and I'm sure there's a little bit of responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah, you're the last guy back, so you can't mess up. It's almost like throwing an interception in football.
Sure.
Like if you turn a puck over in the D zone, it's not a great look. They can get a scoring opportunity.
Sure.
But when you're like taking a rush on, you're supposed to be like telling the forwards where they're supposed to like come back, because you can see all because you've got everyone in front of you. There's like no one behind you. The forwards might be back checking. They'll have like a guy coming down ice behind them that they might not know is there, so you have to talk to them and communicate.
Got you. Sure.
So that's probably where the quarterback aspect comes from, because you can see everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, I got a couple of goofy questions. Jay always throws in the goofy question, so you're not off the hook just because he's not here. First one, would you rather be forced to listen to the same 10 songs on repeat for the rest of your life, or be forced to watch the same 5 movies on repeat for the rest of your life?
I'd say probably movies. I'm not a huge movie guy to begin with, so I don't think it would cause too many issues.
Throw out a couple of your favorite movies. What would they be?
Probably a few of the Marvel movies. Like, I liked Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then like probably some of the hockey movies too, like Miracle or like Blades of Glory. That one's a little less PG, but
very cool. You know, I think I'd be the same way. I think I'd rather have those movies in, because you watch them or background noise or whatever. Yep. Very cool. Okay, if you could have any animal in the entire world as a trained pet, what would it be? You'd have to think about size, you'd have to think about where you'd hold it.
Yeah.
But any animal, sky's the limit.
I'm thinking about like a big bird.
Okay.
That like can carry you, maybe you can like fly around.
I love that.
I think like a vulture, I think, don't quote me on it, but I think like I've heard that they can like support a human's weight while they fly, so. Yeah,
you could be right, I'm not sure.
That could work.
Interesting, I like that. That would also probably be a deterrent for anyone that you didn't want around.
Yeah, probably.
All right, last question. Would you rather have telekinesis, ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read someone else's mind?
Probably telekinesis, be able to move things around.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I could see that coming in handy during a hockey game, really.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
Although, telepathy would help in a hockey game too, if you can read the forward's mind and what they're doing.
Yeah, but if you can just like move the puck off their stick, I feel like that'd make it a lot easier than having to make the play still.
I agree with that completely. And that would probably create a little bit more frustration for him as well.
Yeah.
All right, we've got another weekend coming up against Austin. I asked Coach this question. I kind of want to ask you the same question here. What are some of the challenges of facing the same team 2 weekends in a row? You got 4 games back to back against the same team, and this team happens to be the top ranked team that, quite frankly, we're chasing for points.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that come into that?
It seems like say you play a team one time, you can use some tricks, and then the next game they know like some of your tricks, so it's like harder to use those same techniques again. But I think what gets really difficult is like the intensity of it. You play the same person over and over again. Like I talked about frustration earlier, you get so frustrated with like a specific guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could take away like your clear thoughts. Like you're so mad at the guy, you might want to just like put him through the glass or something, and then you could like end up costing you in a different way. And then I just think playing the same guys over and over again, it builds the competitiveness.
Yeah.
And then makes it harder not only on yourself but also on the other team. So
that's true. That's a good point.
Just builds like rivalry a little bit.
Yep. Well, what do we need to do as a team? What do you need to do to have some success and go get another 4 points out of these guys this weekend?
I think we need to stay out of the penalty box more than we have been last weekend. We probably took a few too many penalties, and then obviously winning the special teams battle when we do get on the penalty kill or power play. If we can stop them from scoring on the power play, that'd be huge. And then I think just stick to our structure, and we watch film during the week, just take those ideas and implement them into our game, and trust our coaches with the structural stuff, and then the players have to execute.
Very well said. Voice of reason. Well, that is really all I've got for you, Jackson. I appreciate you coming on the show here and taking time, like I said, out of your off day to let the fans get to know you a little bit. And you've got some pretty good hockey insight, so I really appreciate you swinging by.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, as we just talked about, the Wings hit the road for Austin this weekend for another bout with the Bruins. The puck is scheduled to drop both Friday and Saturday night, December 16th and 17th at 7:05 p.m. inside Riverside Arena. Catch the action using your Hockey TV login or watch the games at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Aberdeen, the official home for all Wings away games. The game's audio will be broadcast via Hub City Radio's 94.1 The Rock, or you can download the Rock app and listen anywhere on the go. The Wings will have the following weekend off after the holiday break before returning to the Odie for the New Year's weekend when we host the St. Cloud Norsemen. Stay tuned to AberdeenWings.com for more details on that. If you're looking for Christmas gifts, we have gift cards available at the Wings Things Pro Shop. Just go ahead and keep an eye on our social media pages for some upcoming holiday store hours. Very few corporate night sponsorships are still available for the 2022-23 season. Call Aaron at 605-380-5852 to see what's left. Your skater can still sign up for Wings clinics with assistant coach Zach Stepan. Visit AberdeenWings.com and click the Aberdeen Wings Youth Clinics tab for details and upcoming dates. Don't forget, you can listen to Wings Weekly via our podcast. Find the audio for this season's episodes on Spotify, Stitcher, or iHeartRadio. And for all the latest news and information on the Wings, visit AberdeenWings.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. Once again, number 7, Jackson Anderson from Prior Lake, Minnesota, joining me today. Thank you so much, and good luck this weekend against the Bruins.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Wings fans, for joining us. We'll see you next time.